Every so often, there'll be strange phenomenons in life that seem way too out of the ordinary to be real. These occurrences could come in all different ways, from good or bad to coming slowly or all of a sudden. Dreams, occurrences, phenomenons, or in this case, a curse. But not just any regular curse. The LEMMiNO Curse, a series of events, all not particularly great, all being planted on one runner, Illumina, from losing world records in just days of claiming them, and in one case, just a few seconds. And as for another curse, known as the Weekly Thing Curse...
So, while I was finishing editing this video, whatever Marco actually got a 1617.
But we can't really say these curses are the same as the one I'll be breaking down in this video. Possibly Minecraft speedrunning's most cursed world record, 1 year in the making. The Brentilda Curse. Before I get into the video, if you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. This video happens to be my 100th, as well as over 3 months in the making, and it would mean the world if you subscribed. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. April 19th, 2021. Brentilda had set a massive new world record, 936, first sub 10, and with the former world record being 1107, being absolutely shattered by this new time, it became quickly apparent how hard a time such as this would be to beat. Upon spawning into a village overworld with a nearby lava pool, Brentilda gets tools, food, kills the iron golem, and proceeds to enter into the nether. After entering the nether, Brentilda instantly sees a bastion, a fortress, and a nether fossil, which, if you're wondering about the nether fossil, I'll get more into that later. After heading off to the bastion, that being a housing type, he loots the top chests where he obtains iron, allowing him to craft a pickaxe, which he can use to mine up gold blocks with, and perform the top-down manhunt route, getting all his bastion trades and heading off to the fortress. And after having a tough fortress fight, killing blazes, weaving through skeletons, and obtaining enough blaze rods, he builds another portal, exiting the nether.
Dude.
Brentilda had entered into the stronghold next to the portal room, and after entering into the end, he waited patiently on the fastest pace ever, and with enough luck, the dragon perches, with Brentilda rushing in, performing the most important one cycle of his life.
Dude. What? Dude. Oh my god.
This run, obviously being insane in and of itself, with the sub 10 as well as the stronghold nether travel, was one of its kind. And if you're confused on how the travel into the stronghold actually happened, well basically, by using the strategy created by Matthew Bolan, using the nether fossil in the spawn chunks of the nether, Brentilda was able to pull up a list of coordinates, and by using it, he was able to secure a blind within 700 blocks of the stronghold. But Hyreinax, Brentilda blinded into the stronghold, and you would be 100% correct, with the blind being absolutely insane either way, even with this new strategy. And if you want to learn this blind strategy or divine travel, then I'll leave that in the description. With the new world record in the community, it would quickly become apparent how hard it actually was to beat this record, with new changes in the community from a complete revamp in an entire section of the speedrun rulebook, as well as various new game-breaking strategies. For example, X-raying to locate bastions and even ways to locate fortresses, and to top it all off, new insane resetting capabilities. With all these new strategies being built up over time, the community would finally see the first shot ever to break Brentilda's world record 4 months later, and one like none other. In the early hours of August 26th, Illumina, the GOAT himself, would get the first and greatest chances at world record ever. After loading into the world, Illumina performs a brand new strategy, one unlike any other, mapless buried treasure, New at the time, mapless buried treasure has the exact meaning in the name. Using the debug screen, runners are able to quickly locate a buried treasure containing great items like iron, gold, or food, all with relative ease. And after LEMMiNO does this, he quickly spots a lava pool. With a good enter in his hands, he goes off to craft his tools, and after getting rolled on flint rates, going 1 for 15, he builds a nether portal and enters into the nether at a solid 2 minutes and 25 seconds. After using the newly discovered strategy to locate bastions known as Raine, LEMMiNO pinpoints the direction of a bastion and spots a fortress along the way, a very good sign of a possible bastion, deciding to play it risky and doing fortress first, and after killing a few blazes, dodging fireballs stealthily and making hard movements look like child's play, he spots the bastion, a housing type, arguably the best but 100% the most consistent, with very simple routing and plenty of gold blocks, and after LEMMiNO gets his last rod, he exits the fortress heading off to the bastion and beginning his route. His route that he performs, known as the Manhunt route, consists of breaking the center chest, aggroing all nearby piglins and proceeding to chase down the player, with them all running over to where the gold blocks are contained, luring the piglins into a trading hole and bartering all the gold with them that you can supply, with LEMMiNO doing exactly that, but with next to no flaws, besides one thing. When LEMMiNO was looting a nearby chest inside of the bastion, he decided to leave the arrows in the chest behind, with what LEMMiNO doing seeming logical to the normal eye, technically being the right play as well. With the arrows, he could have done a strategy known as half bow, shooting down just a few of the end crystals in the end, which might not seem like much of a help, but with the 1 in 13 chance of an instant dragon perch, it's definitely worth it to grab the arrows to have a largely noticeable increase in the chance of the dragon actually perching. And with that out of the way, LEMMiNO waits for the piglins to finish with the trades, and once they do, he sees that he has everything he could ever need, plenty of pearls, string, and obsidian, and after checking his coordinates, he sees that he has good enough coordinates to exit the nether, so he does exactly that, at one of the craziest paces for the time, and still one most players dream of to this day, 5 minutes and 59 seconds. With the insane pace LEMMiNO is on, he gets a quick unfortunate stroke of bad luck, spawning in a deep cave, but after digging out and following an Eve ender for a very short time.
Let's go find it.
Oh, shit,
No
I don't even
way.
think we're close.
Okay, well it's anywhere between 100 and 2,000 blocks.
I see it!
No, you don't.
Spotting the stronghold in such a short time on a pace like this, and on top of that, having a super linear stronghold, LEMMiNO was in the end on the fastest pace, and still one of the fastest to this day, 7 minutes and 42 seconds, with the current fastest being a 7:31 by Crooks, but unfortunately for LEMMiNO, that's where the entire run started to slow down, with a very bad dragon perch. A minute passed, another after that, and on top of that, another 30 seconds, and the dragon finally perched. And with Brentilda's real life time of his world record being so different to the in-game time, the two different timing rules in speedruns, LEMMiNO would still, after so much time in the end, technically be on the fastest real-time pace ever, beating the game in 11 minutes and 3 seconds real time and 10 minutes and 53 seconds in-game time.
Yo, RTA world record.
Gosh, I'm so
RTA
mad.
world record? That's bullshit.
Well, RTA world record.
First 10xx.
Is it?
Oh my gosh.
Let's go.
That's good. I'm still...
To cover, at the time, this was the new world record set by LEMMiNO, but it also wasn't. You see, with the two separate timing rules, in-game time being the amount of time spent in the actual game, removing any pauses or dimension loads throughout the run, and then real time being the amount of total time from the very start to finish, all pauses included. Brentilda paused for over 90 seconds of his run, so that explains why it looks like LEMMiNO may have the new world record, but it won't be the one we see on the leaderboards. With having such a fast pace be quickly lost to bad RNG, and yet still be the fastest speedrun at that point in time, gave serious hope for the community. With new groundbreaking strats and innovations to the category so often, it wasn't a surprise when LEMMiNO's RTA world record was beaten less than 48 hours later. Hofic 1337, 2 days after LEMMiNO got his 1053, managed to attain a 1036, the first run to ever come within a minute of Brentilda's world record in none other than a tournament, a staple for great speedruns happening, with Hyreinax getting a 12-minute personal best in Break the Record Live, whatever Marco breaking the pre-1.9 world record in Tower to the Top, and with Hofic now breaking LEMMiNO's time in the very first run of K4 Hour, a challenge to beat Minecraft as many times as possible in under 4 hours. Hofic continued on another curse, the LEMMiNO Curse. To quickly break that down, the LEMMiNO Curse is a series of unfortunate events which seem almost too unlikely to be true. For example, him obtaining a world record and losing it in a matter of days or even seconds, and a time where this happened was when LEMMiNO and Real Benex both obtained the 1.14 world records with the first sub-25s, with Benex holding the faster time, obtaining it 3 seconds after LEMMiNO did, meaning the smallest amount of time ever before the world record was broken, just 3 seconds. Another example of this was when LEMMiNO got the 1.16 RSG world record with the first sub-14, with the man with 13 letters in his name, 2-letter name, breaking it in less than 24 hours, followed again by 2-letter name beating his own world record just a day later with a 12-minute and 12-second run. Just for perspective, it took 6 months for the sub-14 barrier to be broken after Corbanos broke the sub-15 barrier, and here 2-letter name was almost breaking the sub-12 barrier just a day after the sub-14 barrier was broken. And with these events happening so much to LEMMiNO, it must be such a pain to lose these game-changing times in just a few days. Following the LEMMiNO Curse, not many groundbreaking things happened in the category. A few great PBs, like Moluji's 1002 and Emmy's 1010, Xylanox's category-destroying speedrun, and the introduction to the Pogloot category. Wait, Hyreinax, go back a step. Xylanox's category-destroying speedrun? November 16th, 2021. Xylanox was up and live, doing a regular Minecraft stream, going for PB or maybe even world record, but little did he know that he would have loaded into a seed, one that would be like none other, almost shattering the 1.16 random seed glitchless world record. After loading into the world, finding a buried treasure without the help of a map, eerily similar to LEMMiNO's run, proceeding to craft tools and build a nether portal, entering the nether at a solid sub-2, and right off the bat spotting a bastion. With a possible fortress nearby according to his pie chart, Xylanox quickly entered into the bastion, being a housing type, again, eerily similar to LEMMiNO's run. Xylanox lured all his piglins over to the trading hole he would dig out for them, providing the piglins with all the gold Xylanox had, and after locating the fortress using his pie chart, scanning for block entities such as spawners, he checked his trades, having everything he needed, leaving the bastion, quickly spotting the fortress. After arriving at the fortress and finding a double spawner, he kills blazes for about a minute until he had enough blaze rods to leave the nether, proceeding to do so, building his blind portal and exiting the nether at 5 minutes and 33 seconds, the fastest pace ever at the time, and with the next thing to happen sending the run into an undiscovered level. If you don't understand what exactly happened, Xylanox threw 2 Eyes of Ender, marking down the angles to work out how far the stronghold was away from him. And with the angle changing by 11 degrees, Xylanox knows the stronghold is less than 100 blocks away, and after a short sprint, he already passed the stronghold, choosing a chunk to dig in. With Xylanox missing the stronghold and only being a few blocks ahead of him, he was probably shaking at the fact that he was still on world record pace. Hyreinax, with the run soon dying to not having enough Eyes of Ender to enter into the end. With this run being more than exceptional, no, astonishing for the time, and still almost the fastest pace to exist in Minecraft speedrunning, there have been an estimated 2 faster runs in existence, that being Dylan's 635 Stronghold Enter and Cube 1337X's world record blind travel, but in that run, Cube blinded for the sake of blinding rather than doing the correct play and going to some safe stronghold coordinates. And instead of breaking down that run, here are some key signature moments from the run. After locating a buried treasure, crafting tools, and obtaining a looting 1 sword from a ruined portal, Cube entered into the Nether sub 2 minutes. After E-raying a bastion and travelling over to it, he performed his route, obtaining all his items and exiting off to the fortress, and by using his looting sword he obtained at the ruined portal, Cube was able to get multiple blaze rods at a time, going 6 for 4 on rod drops and leaving the Nether at 4 minutes and 59 seconds. Nothing special ended up happening with the run beyond that point. With the blind being over 1,500 blocks, the run wasn't finished until the 12-minute mark, with the Brentilda Curse living on, not allowing us to see the world record in this run. From this point on, the Brentilda Curse began to spread like a virus. Molly G's 1002, while not exactly being a throw, due to some bad luck and missed opportunities throughout the run, it quickly lost world record potential, but still made it to 2nd place and so close to sub 10. Chris XD, forgetting to obtain wood in the run, not allowing him to craft beds in the end fight. V-Tartel, accidentally clicking keys to launch his reset macro, sending him to a new seed. Hyreinax, losing sub 10 to not having enough explosives, all of that happening to lead up to 1 player. Crooks, who would come as close to the world record as there possibly is, not once, not twice, but 3 times, which to the average player might not sound like much, but you have to understand that a massive amount of runners that dedicate all their times into their runs won't ever even get the slightest glimpse of the record, so Crooks getting 1, let alone 3, is next to unheard of. So let me break down what I like to call the reign of Crooks. After loading into the world, locating an exposed mapless buried treasure, crafting his essentials, and finding an access to lava, he was in the Nether. With the bastion being right in his face, he instantly performed his route, and with this being a treasure type bastion, he gathered the 2 gold blocks off the bridge and lured the piglins to the top of the rampart, feeding them with all the gold they could ever desire and eventually leaving, quickly spotting the key difference that would make the run. Crooks had divine travel, and like I mentioned before, being a great way to pinpoint the location of the stronghold, and was the exact strategy Brentilda used in his world record, which he blinded into the stronghold. With Crooks having this in his own run, he knew he was onto something great. After entering the fortress, going to the 2nd spawner and killing a set of blazes, he went to the 2nd spawner, realizing that he was at perfect divine coordinates after moving over, so he gathered the rest of his blaze rods and exited the Nether a minute and a half later in the stronghold, and another 45 seconds following in the end, going in for the 0 cycle. If you don't know what a 0 cycle is, or what actually ended up happening, well, don't worry, because I'm here to help. First thing that you need to know is that there's way more to the 0 cycle than meets the eye, with about 60% of seeds being 0 cyclable, and with everyone's favourite, RNG, getting in the way, 59% of that 60%, the cycle is completely impossible, and with a total of 25% of seeds having a 100% chance of 0 cycle happening, that is, if you don't choke the cycle, and with a 25% chance of a 0 cycle being much higher than the 7.5% chance of an instant dragon perch, Crooks did the risky but correct play, and in the process, falling just short, having the dragon turn away. With Crooks coming so close to that sub-10 he'd been dreaming of, and almost world record pace on top of that, Crooks failing the zero cycle was definitely a struggle he would have to overcome, and with the run still not yet being over, he would have no other choice than to wait for a regular dragon perch, and surprisingly, at 10 minutes and 30 seconds, the dragon did perch, one cycling and beating the game in 10 minutes and 56 seconds, one of the most catastrophic but oh so sweet endings to a brand new personal best.
I am fucking speechless, dude.
Even after getting an almost sub-10 speedrun with being on world record pace as well, he wasn't done, just itching for that record, and only a few days later he would get another shot at the crown. After gathering the essentials, he located an underground lava pool and entered the Nether, locating a housing bastion and performing his route, and after getting all his trades as well as 16 obsidian from one singular chest, leaving with 20, and after arriving at the fortress and getting some blaze rods, he built his first portal. Crooks was back in the overworld at a solid pace and proceeded to use a strategy known as manual perfect travel. By going off into the corner of a chunk and lowering your FOV as well as mouse sensitivity to get as perfect a precision as you can, lining up your crosshair with a certain point in the eye of Ender, you can use some math as well as some information from the F3 screen to work out where the stronghold is. And with there being much simpler ways to pull this off now with the help of calculators, at the time these programs weren't allowed, meaning Crooks had to do all of this just by using his brain power, with it all paying off because after building a second portal, since he didn't land his portal right where it should have, aka the starter room, he didn't know whereabouts in the stronghold he was, but that's okay because he would almost instantly spot the portal room. After crafting his beds, he entered into the end and went in for the zero cycle once again, and after setting up the platform, he blew up his first bed and the dragon came back in.
No, dude. You're fucking kidding me, man.
Upon pausing, his timer read 9 minutes and 10 seconds. With the 15-second zero cycle animation plus overall retime, the final time would have been 9 minutes and 33 seconds, and due to no more explosives, the run was unfortunately over. With spawning in the end with a wall of endstone in his face, his pearl took a while to land, as well as pearling a little low down on the tower, he almost instantly had to blow up his first explosive, having not enough damage dealt, causing him to not be able to finish the cycle. As it seems, Crooks is an absolute Chad, and believe it or not, that's not it from him. So let's go back in one last time and explain possibly the closest someone has ever come to breaking the record. After finding a buried treasure and crafting all his tools, he was in the Nether. After E-raying for a bastion, he along the way spotted a fortress and immediately knew that he was on a run. After entering the treasure-type bastion, he performed his route, luring piglins to the top and providing them with all the gold they could comprehend, and after obtaining everything he needed, he headed off to the fortress, and after having some bad luck with blaze rod drops, he built his first portal, exiting the Nether once again performing perfect travel, this time using the Ninja Brain bot. To quickly summarize what the Ninja Brain bot is, it essentially does all the math for perfect travel for you, rather than you having to work it out all by yourself, losing valuable time, with the Ninja Brain bot also being much more precise. After entering into the end, Crooks would do it for a third and final time. With the clock ticking away and world record coming right down to the wire, he did it, going in for one last zero cycle.
Survive this, man. No.
At this point, Crooks finally realised the Zero Cycle wasn't for him, having 3 world records in his hands, failing to obtain run after run. Not to worry though, as of writing this on the 14th of April 2022, Crooks totals 3 sub-10s, a 957, a 944, and his personal best of 938, but Crooks is still going for that coveted world record, and I believe it is right around the corner. Following the saga of runs Crooks managed to pull out, a few more ended up happening over time, from runs like Silver, coming almost as close as Crooks to the record, as well as an Emerald, entering the end on world record pace but got rolled with the Dragon Perch and didn't finish the run until the 11-minute mark. But on the 6th of January 2022, a start to the new year, it would happen again, this time being Dylan's turn. After gathering wood, he was off to a nearby shipwreck, and after crafting his tools and finding some fish along the way, he entered into the Nether using a nearby magma ravine. Upon spawning into a nether fortress, Dylan E-rayed for a bastion with one less than a few hundred blocks away, deciding to do fortress first, obtaining all his blaze rods in just a casual 59 seconds. After making his way over to a housing type bastion, he performed his route, breaking the center chest of the bastion's units and luring all the piglins over to where the gold blocks are housed, digging out a hole for them and providing them with all the gold he obtained, and once he had done that, he checked that he had every trade he needed, which he did, building his nether portal and leaving the nether sub 6 minutes. This time, being great in itself, the run would not receive the Brentilda Curse here, instead almost instantly spotting the stronghold. 6 minutes and 35 seconds. This is what Dylan's timer read as he entered the stronghold, being the fastest pace by a mile, and the Curse quickly realising Dylan was getting a little too close for comfort to the record, with Dylan literally throwing the run, accidentally throwing an Eye of Ender. After yet again another sad loss, it looked like runners were beginning to lose hope. So many great runners almost getting the record, falling just short, or even just not loading the right seed. But then, out of nowhere, runners started gaining a little more hope back for the category, when on the 12th of January, Marky Boy 257 may have gotten sub 10. After getting all the essentials for the run, including a looting sword from a ruined portal, he entered the nether, instantly spotting a bastion. After locating a good gap in the stable's bastion, he did his route, where he would break some gold in the lower depths of the bastions, aggravating all the nearby piglins, bringing them down to a trading hole, and obtaining all the items he needed, peeling to the fortress and collecting blaze rods, and once he obtained enough, he exited the nether. After using the Ninja Brain bot, Marky Boy learned that he was less than a few hundred blocks away from the stronghold. After entering the stronghold, locating the portal room, and entering the end, he just had to wait it out, and after a minute, probably feeling like forever on a pace like this, the dragon purged, and Marky Boy did it, being the second person ever to break the sub 10 barrier. Or did he? With certain pauses in Minecraft speedrunning not being allowed, the pauses Marky Boy made while locating the stronghold using the Ninja Brain bot were added back to the final time, and after retime, the run was in fact not sub 10, being a 10-minute and 3-second speedrun. Can we really blame this on the Brentilda Curse though? Well, I think yes, with the Curse blocking all world record paced runs, as well as Brentilda's time being the only sub 10 in the category at that time, the Curse could 100% be blocking all sub 10s along with it. With Molly G's 1002, Emmy's 1010, and now Marky's 1003, it definitely seems like more than a coincidence. 279 days it's been since Brentilda set the 1.16 random seed glitchless world record. 279 days of strategy development, new innovations, and plenty of huge wins as well as devastating losses. Players coming unbearably close to the record numerous times. It would finally happen by undoubtedly one of the best players to ever touch the game, Cube 1337X, would be the one to do it, dedicating hours of practicing, resetting, learning every strategy to save minutes and even once to save milliseconds, and getting harsh losses along the way. Cube 1337X would beat Minecraft 1.16 random seed glitchless in 9 minutes and 8 seconds.
Oh my fucking god, dude! Oh my fucking god, dude! Holy shit, dude! Oh my fucking god! Holy fuck, dude! Oh my fucking god! Holy shit, dude! Oh my fucking god!
With the long journey the entire community as a whole took to reach this record, viewers, speedrunners, and world record contenders all uniting together, and in the end it was Cube to find an open gate through Brentilda's Curse, breaking it finally after 279 days. For a quick recap, Brentilda set the 1.16 RSG world record of 9 minutes and 36 seconds 1 year ago today, on the 19th of April 2021. Being the first sub-10, the community was jumping with joy that the once seemingly impossible barrier was finally broken. Cube 1337X breaking it 279 days later on the 22nd of January 2022, with a time of 9 minutes and 8 seconds. And today, the 19th of April 2022, one whole entire year after Brentilda set the world record of 9 minutes and 36 seconds, there have been plenty of runs throughout the time Brentilda reigned supreme, and even runs that happened from when Cube broke the record to the current date, with some coming closer than others to breaking phenomenal barriers. And to think that way back when Brentilda's world record happened, almost all the strategies used in today's runs weren't even used in Brentilda's, showing how ahead of its time it actually was. And even with it being such a memorable record, we now have Cube as the new reigning champion. And with this record, I'm sure there'll be more records as well as sub-10s and overall great times in the near future. If you made it this far through the video, I would like to thank you so much. As I mentioned at the start, this video was over 3 months in the making. Make sure you subscribe to every runner mentioned in this video. All links will be in the description down below. Make sure to also subscribe to all the strategy developers that advanced the game so far over the last year. And I would also like to thank Brentilda for giving the community such faith, a congrats on the insane world record, and another thanks for getting so many runners into speedrunning, myself being one of them. Thank you all so much for watching, it really means the world and I really hope you enjoyed. I hope I see all of you in the next video. Goodbye everyone.